when you look at both these shows, like lanterns, James Gunn really found like the crew for this right now. He's got on this right now. He's got, so the Bible and the pilot script and all that was actually created by three guys. You got Damon Lindelof, who did 2019's Watchmen on HBO, so people love that show. You got Chris Mundy, who does True Detective and Ozark, who created both those and did a lot of writing for those. And you also have Tom King, who did Heroes. And so like you have this new superhero team smashed up to make this Lantern show. And they already said it's supposed to be very much like True Detective. And I think that has a good fucking feel to it. It's like the Lanterns kind of trying to solve crimes. Now before they were going to have it centered around, with Finn Witwick was going to come in here to play this part. I remember because I was working with Finn on American Horror Story and he was super excited about it. But then they changed everything. They had a new refocus and they're focusing on Jon Stewart now. When initially they're going to be on Guy Gardner and Alan Scott. And now they just push that away. And of course, we saw they have Nathan Fillion coming in as Guy Gardner for this as well. But they're going to say this whole Lantern thing is supposed to be a big thing over there on Max, pushing a dramatic form of a detective type Lantern show, which sounds pretty fucking dope to me. And now you have Marvel going back to, which I would say is probably one of their most successful shows over there at Marvel, right, Sean? One of their most successful shows was WandaVision, right?
Well, yeah, my whole problem with Marvel television and WandaVision in general is they've teased these things forever. Like we're just now getting an Agatha show. Why? Vision Quest. We knew that was like being worked on since 2022. Why? What are we doing?
So
now?
long.
It's way too long, man.
That's why, like, I heard about the Vision Quest thing too, Sean. And it's like, if you don't hear about this, like, of course, they had White Vision appeared in WandaVision, and they talked about this for a long time. Again, it's kind of like the Blade thing, where it was like, oh, we're going to do that, but then it's delayed. Oh, we're going to do that, but then it's delayed. Oh, it's going to happen. I mean, now it's, and Paul Bettany's still going to come back for this. And they have the writer-creator, I should say, the showrunner, Terry Malice, coming in, who did Star Trek Picard, which was a great fucking series. Good show. That kind of makes me excited about it a little bit. But since 2022, this is supposed to come, and now we're finally getting it. Will Vision get his memory back? Will he find her again? Will him and Scarlet Witch become a family with their fake kids from a different dimension? Sean, which of these do make sense to you? And will either of these be like monumentally great for the brand, or DC and Marvel both going to fail because Marvel's TV has not been doing as good as they want it to be?
I think expectations are super low for the Vision show, just because the fact that it's taken so long to get here. There was no Vision in the no Vision appearance, I guess, in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which again had Scarlet Witch as the main bad guy, right? You expected that to show up, especially after I can't remember if I think this was confirmed. The last episode of WandaVision received like an update a couple months or something like that before Multiverse of Madness. I couldn't be remembering the timeline incorrectly, but you saw the outline of Vision kind of hovering over the cabin where Wanda was going over the Darkhold, and like, oh, maybe he's going to show up and be integral, and then nothing. There was no fucking point of White Vision. It was weird. So super low expectations for Vision in whatever format this comes out. I doubt he's going to make an appearance in this Agatha show. Again, low expectations, getting even lower depending on how the Agatha show goes. Taking a look at the DC slate, nothing but super high expectations, right? The background of this show is stocked. It's loaded, baby. These are some heavy fucking hitters.
Right.
And I want to see some good shit done here. I was sold the moment it was described to me as True Detective meets Green Lanterns. Like, to me, that just fucking makes so much fucking sense. I'm very excited about this. For those, everyone knows what Green Lantern Corps is. I don't need to talk about it or anything. We can get this Ryan Reynolds picture off of there. But even having one of these people involved with this project, like, to me, gets it excited. But to have all of them, it's just such a stacked deck. I have super high expectations for Green Lantern in whatever show that they kind of ultimately go here. Tom King to me, I think, has been one of my favorite writers in the past couple years, especially on the comic side. He's breathed new life into a lot of these disparate characters. He's done a lot of like mini series that kind of take a look at, unused characters from D list level thing and kind of bring them up and makes you care.
What did he write, Sean? All I was looking at was his IMDb page, which really just came up with Supergirl.
Yeah, no. The last thing that he did was I really enjoyed Danger Street. Take a look at Danger Street. It's a 12-issue series. It essentially it actually kind of has like this mythos kind of like narration from Dr. guys. It's taking characters like the Green Team, which were a bunch of like teenage billionaires in the 80s, and bringing them in. It was Metamorpho was in there, Warlord, Star. It was a crazy fucking team, crazy fucking story, and yet you cared about these characters. You cared about the way it was paced was really fucking good. What else do I got on here? Oh my god, the Human Target. I was when Fall Guy came out, I was like, you motherfuckers, you should have done Human Target. Human Target was a beautiful series that came out this year and last year as well. But really well done with a character that no one really gave a shit with since the 80s, early 90s. So Tom King has been fantastic. He's writing Wonder Woman right now, and people have been claiming that's been pretty fucking good. I'll say it again, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, fantastic. Go read that yesterday. Really good. I mean, but again, yeah, the deck is stacked for this show. Highest of high expectations for everything that James Gunn has done, and I think it's only going to get like harder for that, to be honest with you. The closer that we get to any of his properties, any of this phase 1 stuff that he laid out, as soon as that starts coming out, it's gonna really start up in the ante, and I think Marvel's gonna have to play catch up. I feel like they've kind of missed the boat in terms of really building off the success of WandaVision, and to have this long line, I know that they've gotten their druthers or their beatings because they're focusing on characters no one really cared about. The Miss Marvel show, it was fine. It had its moments. It definitely wasn't the show I think people expected. Same thing with Hawkeye. You wanted more Jeremy Renner in it. You didn't get enough Jeremy Renner. I understand you're mad about that, whatever. And then to get a show like Echo was a little weird, right? Like they just kind of cast too wide of a net, and now they're like, well, shit, we still have these toys that you enjoy. We'll just put it back in front, right? All those rumors about bringing back or wanting to get, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, get the band back together.
I think that could still happen.
I'm sure it can. It's just fucking. To me, it screams mismanagement and lost opportunity. To be honest with you, so yeah, Marvel stock going down, DC stock going up. And that's my 2 cents. There you go.
I think so too. When it comes to the TV world, you're right. The WandaVision thing was so long ago now. They should have jumped this gun like years ago. As soon as that was done, they should have gone into production. They should have had it written as a 2-part deal. And then we got into Envision Quest, and wherever that's what's called there. That's the rumored name for a title for it. But we have no idea if it will be called Vision Quest. I feel like
I've been hearing Vision Quest for like a decade at this point. I feel like I've been hearing it for. It probably hasn't been, but it's been at least 6 or 7 years I've been hearing this fucking thing.
It feels like it. I think it feels like it, man. But I just they were riding such a big wave off WandaVision. And then, a lot of these shows, they had some hits and some misses. And I just think, now there's old desperation coming down at Disney where they're like, hey, we're going to start cutting back these shows. We're going to do less movies. We're going to hear, Bob Iger talk about that. You hear Kevin Feige talk about it. I just think right now they're trying to figure out what they're doing. And you're right. There's a Hail Mary of bringing everybody back, and I think Deadpool Wolverine's going to start tying into that world, but maybe it's the X-Men, that actually fix everything. Again, I don't know, All
right, two more Tom King plugs real quick. He actually wrote a fantastic Vision story, over 12 issues as well. It imagined the Vision basically kind of trying to re-find his humanity by creating a wife and 2 kids and living a suburban life. Very weird. Definitely
seems similar.
Yeah, right.
Something that we've seen. Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to be the focus of the show.
Somewhere.
It'll be interesting. And then the other one is Mr. Miracle. Fantastic fantastic pacing, fantastic story development, dealt a lot with PTSD and stress and anxiety in this character that, like, you know, is a little bit of a joke, right? This guy, his whole thing is like he can't be held down. Like he's always escaping from things. He's a master escape artist. You know, the son, the abandoned son of Highfather. Sorry, I'm getting into New Gods territory. You got to cut me off. We got to keep going. I apologize.
Or here's about, is he like Aladdin? What's going on in the chat here about, what are Green Lantern's powers?
I missed any of this stuff.
Yeah, what are Green Lantern's powers? Racer X was asking.
Carpet. He's got a Middle Eastern carpet.
All right,
that'll be very illustrative.
Yeah, they did, and they did the Ryan Reynolds one just flopped, and he just recently watched it not too long ago, and he was like had the ring on, and he was like, it's not that bad. Oh, what's going on there?
So this is a fun one. All right. So this is from a canceled DC video game called I think Infinite Crisis or something like that, and it took characters from around the DC multiverse and imagined them in different ways, and then they all fought on a battlefield in a MOBA. You guys know what a MOBA is? I'm sure everyone knows what a MOBA. MOBA, look it up. Anyway, this is Green Lantern. So Green Lantern's power and all Green Lanterns revolves around the Green Ring. Who you can use. Green Lanterns are strong in the willpower, basically, and they use their wing to construct hard-light constructs to do things, fight battles, kill bad guys, save the universe, all that kind of good stuff. So there's that, and you can kind of see some other ones. You got Batman as a yellow lantern and as a red lantern, and also as a Green Lantern too. So that's a lot of action figures. All right, that's it. That's Green Lantern.
That's great.
Yeah,
Mike, come on down. So, Mike, what do you feel about this? So, do you think that, like Sean's saying, that this seems like a better idea what DC's doing now with the Lantern series, or do you think that Marvel still has one trick up their sleeve when it comes to Vision, and he's gonna have that magical wand of Vision just glow, shine right back through into your face, and make you believe in Marvel once more than DC?
I'd like to thank Sean. I think that was a very instructive demonstration. I felt like you were going to bring the banana and the condom to the front of the class for a moment. just to show us, the practical realities of how this kind of thing happens. I don't know, Brian. Like, it seems like DC has been trying to do like the PG-15 complement to the Disney Marvel more PG-13 take kind of for a little while now, and they failed the Green Lantern repeatedly. It's interesting because we've brought this up many times on this show that there is, I don't know if it's just a case of pressure getting to them, because there's so much potential. There's so much depth to the Green Lantern like canon. Like, it's so interesting, and it delves across like the whole backdrop of the whole DC universe. So I can understand why executives would be a little bit like reticent to kind of even dip a toe into that, because you kind of start tugging that you might affect the whole of your universe. But the thing is, you can't shy away, because that's where some of the deepest stories are told. And just now when Sean brought out the model, I was like, oh yeah, this superpower is great for the medium of comic books, because before we could do this stuff on the big screen, like if we just have a guy whose power is that he can create things that he imagines, essentially, like that's just perfect for the drawn visual medium. What do I think? Do I think this has a bigger shot up against Vision? Is that what you're asking? If I weigh those,
what do you think? Yeah.
I want to believe, Brian. So the credits, these guys, we've got this hard hitter Tom King, right? We got Damon Lindelof of Watchmen. He did very interesting stories with that. Good visual adaptation. What the other guy did. Damon Lindelof also did Ozarks. One of them did Ozarks. One of them was on True Detective. I mean, that just shows that they're really like kind of trying to. There's going to be a lot of character development, is what I see.
You need that. You really need that
100%.
Green Lantern stuff for sure.
For
Like
Green
I think
Lantern,
that that was the problem with the original take of Green Lantern. It was just like cocky flyboy. Go
Fluffy,
ahead.
yeah.
There wasn't a lot to it.
I mean, maybe like at a 1950s, 1960s Silver Age, like pass, like okay, but that's
lot's
not
been
where
done with Hal
market was
Jordan
headed.
as a character, and that's why I really hope we don't get a Hal Jordan in this Lantern series. Like the character is a little overdone at this point. It's been around too long. Like you have Jon Stewart, who is, of course, he had a great run and great use on the Justice League animated series. You guys might remember that one. Guy Gardner showed up half a dozen times in different ways, but that character, of course, I think, right, he's going to be in Superman. I think that was announced a long time ago.
He's going to be in Superman. That's Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, like the whole. Yeah, I totally feel that, Mike. There's a lot of layers to that onion, the Green Lantern onion. Just even getting into the whole emotional spectrum and color palettes and worlds and central batteries and guardians and Cordians and the weaponers. Oh boy. Oh no. Sorry. It all just comes out of the head.
What do you think they have to do to get it right, Sean? If Green Lantern is going to be the thing that makes DC a legitimate competitor with Marvel cinematically, what is going to be the foothold that makes it happen for them?
For me, I think the issue that Green Lantern is always like, oh, you know, this guy showed great strength in moments of weakness, right? Like he helped a little old lady over a car. He befriended a dying alien, and that means he gets this power, right? Like to me, it always felt like too circumstantial, and it was too easy of an origin story, right? Like I really appreciated. Sorry, going back to comic books. Big fucking surprise. Superman Red.
We're talking about story.
I know.
We're talking about what makes a story succeed for a big audience.
Yeah.
It makes sense, Sean.
I want like the concept of a intergalactic space cop coming in and grounding it with a character you can relate to is one thing, but making them care about the implications of that character succeeding, I think, are completely another thing, because the scale gets too big for the human television audience to really understand.
Totally.
There's an issue there. What I was going to say is one of the best, I think, interesting takes of Hal Jordan in the past 10, 15, 20 years, 15 years, something like that. Superman Red Son. Mark Millar's take on Superman as if he had landed, instead of in Kansas, he lands in Soviet Russia, grows up to be this big communist guy, and it's fantastic. Soviet guy, and it's wonderful. The take on Green Lantern there is that it was actually a guy that survived a Vietnam prison camp, and how he did it in just constructing a prison in his mind and slowly but surely making a situation better and better. And you saw that growth, in a few panels. It wasn't a complete thing, but for me, it felt very understandable. This was long time coming. This guy is a master of this because of what he's gone through and understanding it. And then of course it all falls apart because Americans treat it just give it to all the pilots. That's fine. So I want to see, it needs to be grounded enough for you to give a shit and give enough of a basis for why this person has become a Green Lantern for the show to work for me. There.
And you got to make Hal Jordan's mom named Martha, right?
It's all Martha.
Of course.
It's Martha's all the way down. Everyone's a Martha.
If you're in the Justice League, your mother's name is Martha. That's it.
You have to, it's all name changes at that point.
It's a prerequisite, Yeah.
My
name's Martha. My name's Martha.
I do appreciate
Martha.
the chat about the exploration of the fact that, yes, Green Lantern's weakness was yellow, and that was extrapolated. That the weakness in the ring was because of yellow, the parallax. There you go, exactly. In All-Star Batman, when Jim Lee did that.
All-Star Batman? Was he
All-Star
a superstar?
Batman? No, it was... Okay. How much time you got, Brian?
Well, we got about a few minutes.
Whatever. All right. All-Star Batman, they did a really fun gag on a Green Lantern where Batman and Robin painted an entire room yellow and then was like, "Come get us, Green Lantern! What the fuck you gonna do?" And it was kind of funny. Like, it was like poking fun at the absurdity of a easy, like, understandable joke in the 1950s, 60s, whenever the fuck this character came about, and then trying to modernize it and being like, this is still kind of silly that you consider, like, that's the drawback to this magical ring that that charges itself reciting a nursery rhyme, and can physically make giant boxing gloves appear in the sky. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
It's weird. And how can a color be a weakness, though? That's what Racer X says. Well, I think it's because they're powered by colors. So the green infuses them, and then the yellow is the negative energy, right? The yellow is the negative energy.
Fear. Yellow is fear.
Okay,
right.
so
it's about
fear,
it's about wavelengths.
and the joy.
Okay.
It's about vibrations, Racer X.
So this is Batman in the Sinestro Corps, and
shit.
yellow power rings, and they're about, you have the power to instill great fear, and so that's that one. There you
That's
go.
great for Batman.
That looks like force lightning to me.
Let me show you fear.
It's actually hard light bats, because that's Batman's so obsessed with bats. As soon as he gets a power ring, he just makes more bats.
Blast bats at him.
The man loves the bats. What can I say?
True. Giant boxing gloves.
He's projecting his own fears.
Half of these characters, whenever they got these powers, all they would do is make giant boxing gloves, because that was like one of the easiest things to draw.
That just means that they have no imagination. That's the artist trying to let the reader know the internal reality of the person who possesses the ring, Sean.
One ring to rule them all, Mike. One ring to rule them all.
There were two Green Lanterns introduced in the last couple of years that I would be really excited to see. One of them is Jessica Kruse. I can't remember the other guy's name, but he was Muslim, and it was a really interesting take on the character. But yeah, I don't know. Again, there's a lot to pull from Green Lantern, a lot of ways. And again, it's like, how do you go so deep and explain the fact that this is an intergalactic thing, but also make it grounded and realistic for a television
You can go
audience?
deep.
I know, buddy. We could all go. We could all go count. Yeah, baby. Why not?
But no, I just think it's honestly a great idea. You turn it into, like you said, like an interstellar cop, like a space detective out there, and it's like a whole group of them coming in, and you have like the biggest crime that goes down that has these traces of yellow energy, of fear everywhere. I just think it could be cool. It could be really cool. And there's an idea there that as long as you get these right minds and they have some kind of cohesive story, it could like reinvigorate the DC universe when it comes to Maxiverse.
The potential is there.
Exactly.
It's a tough.
And Paul Bettany seems
narrow.
Whatever at this point. Like when I think about that, I'm like Vision. Who cares now at this point? I'm like, who cares?
The deck is so obviously stacked for DC. They're taking their time. They're trusting James Gunn's vision. They're slowly but surely getting things going. They're taking their time with it, being very.
Wrong button.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
I think you meant to say this one, Brian. Oh yeah, snap into a Slim Jim.
Dig it. Nah, that gives me agita.
All right, Peppy.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
How about this one? Here we go.
Oh yeah.
There you go. There you go.
I'll take that. Yeah. It's the deck's stacked, man. And DC has got nothing but promise and potential, and Marvel is like, don't disappoint us again, please. Even though that's all we're expecting from you.
Why would you need Green Lantern in a murder case? Because he can form knives with his hands and he can stab bitches. He can Edward Scissorhands. I don't know. Because he can fly and he can fight and he can. We can't crow. But
is that a hook? A hook?
Where are we going? Are we going hook on this one?
Hook?
That was a hook thing.
Wow.
I don't know what I'm saying right now. I just think because maybe they're a whole super league of detectives that have superpowers, Queen. Maybe that's what it is. And so we're not expecting to have this super detective force come in to solve the case.
It's not going to be a typical murder. It's not just going to be like,
space murder.
Honestly, whenever there is a crime scene in a comic book like crossover miniseries, you always have a scene of Green Lanterns with their ring scanning a bullet hole or a corpse.
Is that a true thing?
Or,
That's not
oh
a
my
true
God.
thing, is it?
They're always in there. I could pull a book right now and fucking talk about something
Space
else. Go ahead.
cops.
If he can pull it, Space Cops, Mike. What do you think about that concept, Space Cops? Does that just sell itself?
It does. I mean, that's Green Lantern for you. Why you keep trying to buy time, Brian, and then you throw it over. I see your shenanigans. I see the whole reason that you've added this Super Mario music to the middle of hot
It's fun.
takes.
It's
It's because
fun.
you're just trying to stall for time while you work your format, do your background magic, and I'm here for it, Brian. I like
That's
it.
what she said. But no, I think that the time. I mean, it's like Space Cops. It just writes itself, and I think that if you're gonna have something with Green Lantern, you can't just throw him back in like they did before. Look at the Ryan Reynolds one. People just fucking hated it. It comes with CG mess. How do you humanize it? How do you ground it? How do you make it more realistic in today's world? You get fucking realistic directors and creators on board to ground it. That's what you do, and then you take it to the streets, man. Take it to the fucking streets if they're fucking Batman, and I think that could work really well. And again, Vision Quest, we waited a long time. Paul Bettany's gonna be trying to get his memories back. Would Wanda come back? We already kind of killed her off already in a lot of ways. And she's not dead, but she would have to appear. Agatha's coming. I just don't know.
That did
Okay,
not
Sean.
take long.
I fucking told you. I fucking told you. Look at him scanning that dead body. Look at him doing it. Yeah, I fucking told you. Infinite Crisis. It's great. It's a good story. All right.
Yeah. There you go. Believe Sean, never doubt him, and Space Cops are real. They're fucking real. So be careful where you piss in which universe, because someone will write you a ticket.
And they're afraid of yellow.
It's true.
And they're very afraid of yellow.